Hi everyone, I thought I'd do something a little bit different tonight. As some of you are aware, I like to mess about with electronics and I love repairing things and I love teaching myself how to repair things, so I thought I'd do something a little bit different and try and repair a monitor which had broken recently. I took it apart the other day and I found that there were broken capacitors inside, well, bulging anyway. 4 of them were really bulging, and I assumed that that was probably what was causing the monitor not to switch on anymore. So tonight I'm going to have a crack at repairing that monitor by replacing all the capacitors, and we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. Today's little project is something I've never done before. I'm still very much a novice with electronics, but what I've got to do is, this is a board from a monitor which is broken, and on looking at the board, which is the power supply for the monitor, I noticed that these caps are very swollen. And there are 3 1000 and 1 470. That's gone. Oh, trying to keep that on the camera. Hopefully you can see that from the side. Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, so my goal for today is to replace these 3 and this one here, and probably these 2 as well, depending on how well this goes. Like I said, I've never done this before. It's another one of these little new things that I just wanted to try out. No harmy. This one looks like it's maybe somebody's attempted to fix on the back anyway, or it's just a really bad weld because I think it's broken, as in the solder joint is dodgy anyway. So anyway, yeah, let's give it a go. Let's try it with the solder sucker. I never have much luck with desoldering things, probably because I'm such a novice. Oh, there we go, that was easy enough after all. Let's try this next one. Bad. Numero 1, extractico. Not wanting to melt with my shitty little iron. Come on, little one. You can do it. I shall try the button of power, that does nothing. Come on. Come on. Nothing power. Oh, this is useless. There we go, finally. Finally just about enough heat to get one away. It's getting very hot around the top, this iron, but not so much around the base. There we go. Sorted. Okay, I think that's number 2. Out. These ones here. Remember that. Out. When I say 1000, by the way, I mean microfarad, I believe. So I'm being an idiot. I'm still much of a novice with electronics. I just dive in and do shit, because that's what I enjoy. Let's just do that one again a little bit more, just in case we didn't get it all. Okay. I think that one should come free now. Might still be in there a little bit hard. Just this pin here is a little bit bent. I forgot to bloody prime it, didn't I? Shows how much of a novice I am. Right, I should have it. Let's try again. There we go. this one here is these two pins here. Awful at remembering things. Right, let's try not to damage those two little chips next to it. Let's press the button of power again, because it did seem to do something that time, I think. Button of power, do your job. Come on. Okay. There we go, that's one. And I've got to be careful because there are two tiny little chips next to it and I don't really want to be damaging those. I need to heat this up so it's not that. Okay, come on. Come on, Jenna, you can do it. Come on. What's that? That should come out, hopefully. Let's see. There we go. And yeah, why don't we do them all? I've got enough spare caps. Just need to remember which ones goes where. That's 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 470, 470, 470. Yeah. Okay. Let's recap the whole fucking lot. Nothing else, it'll be good practice even if this monitor doesn't work afterwards. By the way, the cradle for the electronics on the back of the monitor was just stuck on with silver tape, which was quite interesting. You might have seen that on my Twitter when I was exclaiming from shock about that. I was expecting it to be held onto the screen, or at least the back of the screen, with some something substantial like some screws, but no. Just a bit of sticky tape. Right, that should be all our caps removed. Sorted. So over here I have the new capacitors. Now you notice that the new 1000 microfarad capacitors are a lot smaller than the old ones. Just make sure they are the same value. Let's see if I can see this on the screen. To reassure you, they are both the same value. I'm not being an idiot. I've double checked it. They're both 1000 microfarad, 16 volt, and 105 degrees rated. So here is where my inexperience will begin to show once again. So let's put the first one in here, just showing you the white line on the side of this matches up with the white line on the side of the board. So the white line on board, white line on capacitor. Pop it in and make sure you got the right polarity. And then I need to hold that in place somehow. Let's do it with one of the old capacitors. I don't know how safe that is. Probably not that safe. But anyway. And then I need to get myself a little bit of solder off of this reel, which I've just bought, so because I only had really thick solder beforehand. Didn't have any skinny stuff. So I'm just gonna get a bit of this, so it should be a little bit easier to work with than the really thick grade stuff that I had before. Okay, so let's just heat up that plate. I know you meant to clean them off first, but I'm lazy as fuck, so it's got flux in it, by the way, this, so I don't need to put any flux on the end of the thingamabob. It's cored with flux, which helps it flow into the joint there. I'm going to go at it from this side because the other side has got those two little chips. There. Lovely jubbly. I think that looks okay. I'll let you be the judge of it. I'll show that to you there. See what you think. Oh, there we go. It's focused. Now, is there a little bit more required on that side, I wonder, or is that just shiny? I think it's just shiny. I'll have a close up look myself. Yeah, it's just shiny. It's not a hole. It isn't a hole. So all I need to do to finish that one off then is just to clip off at that end as close to the board as possible and move on to the next one. So hopefully you'll be able to see the new cap in here. And it's sitting pretty on the other side of the board. So that's number one done. I'm just going to go on and do the rest of them now as well. Luckily I can remember where they go. So once again, white line for polarity. Can I get through the hole? Yes I can. Just use one of the other ones to prop it up. Make sure the tip is clean. Getting close to the base. And float in there. One and the other one too. This little novice is feeling quite proud of herself for that. Just make sure that's okay. Yeah, that looks alright to me. I'll pick those up later. So that's number 2 on there. Looking good, I think. And I'm doing the silly boys. Anyway, right, number 3. Just pop that in there. I don't know whether I'll edit this out, by the way. I am just kind of talking to myself while I'm doing video. Thought it'd be quite fun to do something like this. Challenge myself to try and do something without taking a million years over doing it. And I was thinking one of these days maybe I'll start doing this sort of thing on a live stream when I get proficient at it. So just put that off. Oh, just got that off a little bit lower than it was. That's very good. Inspect that joint, I think that's okay. Yup, I'm happy with that. And then we just need to do the 470s as well. I should note that you probably should clean off these pads a little bit better than I have here. They aren't too bad. I mean, that one wasn't very good to start off with. But really, for the best conductivity, I think you should probably clean them off a little bit better than I have. But anyway, yeah, fuck it. As they say in France. Now these are actually the same sort of length as the 470s that I've taken out. Pretty much. There's a little bit of height difference between them. But they're pretty much the same. So I Might clean this one off a little bit because it is a bit mucky. I'm just going to use a bit of solder wick for that. Just to soak up a little bit of the last the gunk that's on it. There's quite a lot of flux around this one. Looks a little bit better. Not much better, to be fair. Yeah, it's a little bit cleaner. Okay. Clean off the soldering iron and solder on. Or solder on, as the Yanks say it. Right, once again, lining up the white line with the white line. I was going to say something else, but I don't know what I was going to say. Let's prop that up. Heat up the pad and flow some solder on that. And the other one. Just double check that, make sure that's okay. Yeah, looks okay to me. It's quite a neat solder joint. Yep, I'm happy with that. 2 more to go, and then I promise we'll be over. Okay. Next one. Well, that failed miserably. Just went up to the soldering iron. Come on. Come to the pad, please. Thank you. Perfect. One last 470 up here. And then we are done. And hopefully this will mean that this monitor works again, because it just wasn't switching on beforehand. At the very least, it means it's got a decent power supply at last, hopefully. Unless I've royally cocked it all up. Right, sorted. So, as we can see from the back, everything is pretty tidy. And we have a new set of capacitors on the front. These are all the 470s and these are the 1000s. All looking pretty damn good. So, now it's time to reassemble the monitor. And fingers crossed, we'll be in business. So I just wanted to show you what I meant by sellotape, or rather tape on the back of the monitor. I don't know whether it's common practice, but basically the only way this has been affixed, this is the cradle here where the electronics go into, and the power supply will sit in here. The only way it was actually affixed is by tape. So it's literally just sellotaped onto the back with 3 bits of metal tape. I've got some more so I can replace it. And that was about it. And then that whole assembly was then fitted inside the plastic shell of the monitor. So I'm going to try and replicate that, but make it a little bit more firm now. So anyway, can I remember where I put my screws? Yes, I can. Brilliant. Okay. So here goes nothing. Anyway, need to reconnect the leads before I get started. Make sure that everything is going to end up connected as it should be. Last thing I want to do is seal the whole thing up and then find out I've left something disconnected. No, did that go somewhere over here as well? Perhaps. Oh god. Jenna. I think that was something over here. I think that goes in there. Yep, okay, so we're fine as far as that's concerned. And these go in here. Can I access them all? Yes, I can. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is just screw this whole assembly back in again. Make sure I can do it the right way. Sorry for the lack of a decent running commentary on this. If I do more videos like this, hopefully I'll get better at it. But at the moment, I'm really trying to concentrate on figuring out what the fuck to do and what goes where. So that's the main focus for me right now. I need a screwdriver, a better screwdriver. Fuck it. Ah, that's more like it. Número 1. Dos. Probably, yeah. 3. Mixture of languages there, because I don't know enough of fucking Spanish. Right, that one seems to be slightly threaded. No, we're okay. Alright. Okay, so let's see. This needs to go through here. Oh, that's great, that broke. Okay, never mind. No biggie. The problem with plastics, I find it just degrades over time. It's like my car. It just after a while, the plastic just decays to the point where it falls apart, which is why my side skirts aren't on the car at the minute. Fucking useless. So I just want to make sure that doesn't get trapped. And it's just gently underneath, slotted back into the panel. This lead down here is the one that actually leads to the TFT, or the LCD matrix, whereas the other ones, I believe, go to the light source, but it may be the other way around. I haven't got a fucking clue, to be honest. I'm just jabbering around, not really having a clue. It's all guesswork for me. Hopefully I get these the right way around. 1, 2, up there, and 2 down here. 1, 2. This may explode if I've got it wrong, which could be fun. Let's take this bit of metal tape off here and replace that as well, because it's not very sticky anymore. So, new metal tape, aluminium tape, insulation tape, whatever you want to call it. So I can take this bastard on. There are actually places for screw holes around here, but of course you can't screw directly into the back of a TFT. By the way, the type of monitor this is a W2361V LG monitor, and when it was running, it was rather nice. So I'm hoping I can get it back to functioning order again. Make sure this is sitting pretty much exactly as it was before, and otherwise it won't fit in the case. One bit of tape. Be a bit more substantial on that side. Number 2 piece of tape. anyone could tell me why they use aluminium tape in these things, I'd be very grateful, because I don't know why they use it as opposed to any other kind of tape, unless it's just for the look of it because it's silver and it's sticking to silver. Or is it, oh, I suppose it might be its, that's the main question beforehand, it's probably its insulation properties, because it's, the monitor outputs quite a lot of heat. That's probably it. See, this is how my mind works. I ask a question, I ask it to other people, and then I think about it a little bit, and sometimes it just becomes obvious, and I kick myself because I've wasted somebody's time. Anyway, enough of my insecurities. Oh, it's so fiddly. Oh my god, come on. Right. I'll do that as the last bit of tape. Down here. So fingers crossed. It's one of those ones that's got a like a touch sensitivity thing on it. Yeah, so it's that touches the case, and then you literally just touch it with your finger and it switches on. And then you've got these side panel bits here which go into the which give you your options, but this is your power button, and it's quite nice. It's kind of lit up red and everything, and it's quite pretty. Anyway, so I'm going to put this monitor back together again now, fingers crossed. One thing I've neglected to mention before I took this thing apart, and I didn't video it unfortunately, is how this is actually put together. So the screen sits inside just a standard plastic housing, as you can see. This is where the touch sensitive button is down here, and that hooks up to the electronics. But the only thing actually holding the back of the screen onto the front, the clips are on the outside. So the only way to pull this apart is to use some plastic tools to just pop all the clips around the outside. There's no screws on this particular monitor. There's the W2361V. I don't know if you can see on the top. No, you probably can't. There we go. LG Flatron W2361V. But yeah, there's no screws in the back of this one. So all you need to do is get yourself a little plastic prying tool and just pop. Get a couple of them actually. It's probably easiest, and just pop all the clips. And then you can actually take the panel out. Now, putting the panel back in again, I don't actually know the best way of doing this, so I'm just going to take the freshly put back together panel and drop it in there. Well, not drop it, but gently lower it into the frame to expose the controls, because we're going to need to fit them back in the front bit. We're going to need to fit that back in the front bit as well. So let's see. I'm going to start probably maybe foolishly flipping that back in on the left hand side. And let's see if you can see this better if I lift the camera a bit. That's a little bit better. What I'm going to do here is try and get the touch sensor seated back where it's supposed to be, behind these two clips here. Okay, that's not too bad. And this needs to go sit behind buttons at the top here. Hopefully just a delicate touch will get it back in there again. We shall see. I haven't actually paid any attention to how this came apart, so it may end up in disaster. We shall see. Okay, buttons. Buttons. Oh, I need to pay attention to this. I think perhaps a gentle touch may work for us. Come on. Have we done it? Is that it? No, maybe not. Oh, there we go. Hopefully hopefully that's it. It's falling out again at the front. Ugh, fiddly as fuck. Right, that all seems to be in the right position now, so let's try and get it closed before it falls apart again. Come on. Come on. You know you want to, you bastard. Just going to push that down out of the way with something. Okay. Right. Moment of truth. Moment of truth. Let me just nick a cable from somewhere. Right, I found a cable. I have found a cable. I'm hoping it is okay. And here's the moment of truth. Here's where we find out whether I have completely screwed up the monitor, whether I have been completely ineffective, or whether I have been successful in my endeavours. Maybe. Let's see. So we're plugged in. And we have a symbol. We have success. The monitor is on. Let me see if I get any options or anything. Brilliant. Yes. Oh, I'm well happy with that. One monitor successfully repaired. Cha-ching. I may have forgotten to put one of the components back in. Can't be important, right? Do I bother putting it back in? Nah, fuck it. It's like those screws that you find, isn't it? It's like those screws that you find on when you're putting together a flat pack and then your bookshelf falls down. Oh well. I decided to follow my better judgment and actually put that bit back in again because it was kind of making the monitor a little bit more stable. And all it was doing, really, just hooks on here. All it was really doing was making it fit a little bit better on that side so that the frame didn't wobble around the outside as much. And that's it, really. Not super important, but important enough that it was just keeping the whole thing steady. So I've put it back in again. Anyway, job done. And I'm now going to give this monitor back to Leona so that she has two monitors again. Sorted.